You're listening to the audio production of Saving Face, Finding Myself, God, and One Another Outside a Defaced Church by Aimee Byrd, published by Zondervan and read by the author. To Blaine Reinhardt and Margie Stemple, the first faces that gazed into mine and showed me I'm worth delighting in, over and over. Thank you for your faces, which are helping me develop my own. Preface. A face that fits. We are all looking for a face. It's the first thing we do when we are born into this world. We look for a face looking at us, delighting in us. We are all looking for our own face. That's a big part of these other faces, really. We come out asking, who am I? Who loves me? Why do I matter? So we need to be seen. The first mirror we see is the face of another human. In the other's face, we find our own. We are all looking for God's face. This is the blessing, to see God's face, to see God's face looking at our face, to see God's face delighting in our face. Then we will know who we are. Then we will know we are loved. Then we will feel in our bones how we matter. Our faces prove we were made for relationships and community. Our faces provoke a sense of meaning that calls us to hold one another responsible. Our faces summon our humanness. They show our nakedness, our need, our truth. Can you do that? Can you look into the nakedness of another human face? Can you reveal your own face before another so that you may learn the truth of who you are? Can we find our faces? Can we find God's face? Looking into the nakedness of another's face is how we learn about who we are, the meaning of life, and therefore who God is. He shows up in the faces of others. But we are busy trying to hide our faces, mask them, conform them to the face we think is acceptable, clamoring to discover what that is. We are, in a sense, terrified of our own faces, frightened to discover who we really are, and even more, to reveal who we really are to others. We are stuck in the hustle, and therefore we're only looking at the outside of things, the outside of our face and the outside of the face of the other. We have an unspoken agreement. I'll accept your mask if you accept mine. Ironically, it can be described with the idiom, saving face. It doesn't work, though. Our longings are too deep, too true, too powerful. We need to dig them out of ourselves. We need one another's faces to excavate and nourish them. It turns out that pain, fear, and shame are working hard to strangle and malnourish our longings that need to be blessed. They trick us into believing that we cannot share our secrets, even with ourselves. They attack at the corners of our broken pieces where beauty does its best work in the mending and creating. We need one another to listen and look. We need to be awakened to spring because the last of the winter snow is melting. God is calling us, and amazingly, He wants to see our face and hear our voice. Song 214. What is it about the face? What do we mean when we talk about God's face or our own? Why can it be so difficult to look someone in the eye, especially a suffering someone, to hold that gaze? What is revealed? How do we find Christ in the faces of others? How do we find our own faces? We all long for faces that fit, for faces worth saving, and we need one another's faces to call out our own. Looking into others' faces reveals a greater mystery. Saving face is a reflection on the divine face and the meaning we get from the faces of others as we're trying to find our own. Our personhood will be consummated as we together make it to that day before the face of God. I'm inviting you into a combination of storied memory, journaling with God, interactions with the faces of others, and re-looking at the scriptures in light of it all. Will you enter with me into a
Sample complete. Ready to continue?